everyone, welcome back to Devils United. Today I'm doing a Tottenham preview. 3 brilliant Tottenham fans here. Outnumbered again, aren't I, on my preview. 3 Tottenham fans this time. But I've got 3 brilliant Tottenham fans here. Eujin, Tommy and Stel. Thank you all for tuning in, and thank you as well for coming onto the channel. Eujin, how are you?
I'm doing fine. It's about 2 a.m. in Malaysia now, so let's see what happens on Saturday.
Yes, it's going to be a big game on Saturday. Tommy, how are you? Good to see you again.
Yeah, cheers for having me, Maisy, and yourself, and big up to everyone in the chat. I want to say I'm optimistic, but I'm not. It's win one, lose one, win one, lose one for Spurs right now. I'm sure we'll get onto it, but I want to say optimistic, but I'm not.
No, I'm not optimistic about my team neither. So
no, it's just we're struggling, aren't we? We're struggling.
Both of us are struggling. Stel, thank you for coming on. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Sorry that I'm looking at my phone, Maisy. I'm just trying to share the fact that you're live now on my Twitter. So I'm promoting you. I'm just doing some promotion work for your channel.
Thank you so much there for promoting the channel as well. Oh, exciting game coming ahead. I'll go with you, Tommy. First off, how do you think Spurs have been so far this season?
It's been really, really hit and miss. I mean, like yourselves, we've had 2 managers. We've had 2 different managers, so we've sort of you can split this season in 2 if you like. The funny thing is, first 3 games of the season we were top. The Scum were bottom. Arsenal were bottom. It was for the first international break. Didn't last too long. Since that point, it was bad. It's been really, really bad up until Conte came. And you know, playing the big teams, we really have struggled. We've only beat Man City twice. Of all the teams to beat, we beat Man City twice and lost to the rest. We nicked a point against Liverpool too. So our season's been very, very topsy-turvy. This is the only competition we're left in. So it's going to be difficult, very, very difficult. We're fighting with yourselves for top 4. And it's not going to be easy.
It isn't going to be easy at all. It has been quite a roller coaster for both the clubs. And I'll go with you, Eugene, because you've had Nuno going great for Nuno. He got manager of the month in August. And then for the first Manchester United versus Tottenham, known as the El Sacchio. Lovely name to call a football game. And then you have Conte. Completely different styles of play as well there, isn't it?
Very true. I think it's we'll call the manager of the month curse for Nuno. And then we had to thank Ole for beating us 3-0. And then the Levy out chance started in the stadium. And then there was the panic, right? And then we got Conte first, right? If we didn't get Conte first, most probably you would have gotten Conte. But I'm not sure, but a lot of MU fans weren't that impressed with Conte. Maybe part of your fan base weren't that into it, but at least we've got him. And our stats were really bad under Nuno, right? We don't have any shots on goal, and our defense, when it was okay, it was just okay, and when it wasn't okay, we just weren't there. So at least now with Conte around, it's brought back a bit of belief in the fan base. But like what all Spurs fans have to go through, the roller coaster ride: win one, lose one, win one, lose one, win one, lose one. So, and we've never had the middle ground. The only draw we've had, right, was more or less the first game he was in charge against Everton, if I'm not mistaken. And from there onwards, it's a roller coaster ride. Higher when you're very high and lows when you're very low. So it is what it is. So as being a Spurs fan now, we hope to break that duck against you guys, right? So, but let's see the tactics. Let's see what happens. Maybe we'll go further on that. And of course, we have Coach Stel to tell us what Manchester United should do against Spurs.
Well, I'll try my best, because even I don't know what's going to happen for Manchester United, how we're going to play either. And that's going from a Manchester United fan, switched it up far too much. Stel, how have you thought Tottenham has done for you so far this season?
Well, Maisy, I've firstly got to squeeze in a big shout out to Coach Emirado, Coach Chris, Coach Ham, and to Coach Marvin, because I'm in a coaches group. They're all Man United fans, and the carnage between Spurs and Man United in that group is on another level. You wouldn't believe it. Normally it's the Spurs and Arsenal. No, it's Man United and Spurs are going at it. So I just got to give them a shout out. I'm always listening to them talk Man U. Spurs this season, same as the past 3 seasons, ever since we sacked Poch, it's been a shit show, Maisy. Biggest mistake we made, sacking him and not backing him. And the money we've spent on managers, sacking managers, compensation, throwing whatever money we have had at those managers, mismanaging the transfers. We could have rebuilt under Poch and built a fantastic team and club under Poch. As soon as the going got tough for Poch, Levy just threw him under a bus. The one time his wingman was struggling, he ditched him. And look at us. Nuno, Mourinho, Mason. We even got Gattuso and Fonseca nearly. Conte's a breath of fresh air because he's clearly elite. I'm surprised you guys didn't go for him. But look, half of the Man U fans in my group, they're happy they never got Conte because they don't like his style.
Yeah, I saw that.
The other half of my Man U friends in the group that I'm in, they're pissed off they didn't go for Conte. So I think he divides fans. But for me, I'm so glad we've got Conte. It's exactly what we needed because at least he challenges the board and he calls them out. It's whether we back him or not. And this is what it's going to come down to for us. But so far this season, yeah, it's a shit show.
I feel your pain, honestly. I'm staying with you as well, Stel. With the players you do have, do you think they suit Conte's style of play?
I don't think our players suit any manager's style of play, Maisy. If I'm going to be honest with you, look, we got 6 players that I think are very, very good. Okay, Hugo Lloris, Romero, Bentancur, Kane, and Son. They're really good players. Then you've got some promising players that need time, but they're showing that there's something about them. Skip, Kulusevski, and Reguilon, right? They're showing there's something there. The rest, if we got rid of them tomorrow, I wouldn't care less. I really wouldn't care less. So we're like Man U. We need a massive rebuild. But the fact we're even in the top 4 race is unbelievable because we're not that good. We're not that good, but we have good moments. And that's where take Harry Kane and Son out this squad. We're in a relegation fight.
And that was actually a question here from Niall as well about Harry Kane being linked to Manchester City too, because we've seen it last in the summer transfer window that he wanted to go to Manchester City, and then it ended up he didn't. Then there was all this going on in terms of that he was refusing to go to training. Can you see, Eujin, that Harry Kane is going to be linked again to Manchester City?
I think Harry Kane had his audition against Manchester City about 3 games ago, right? And he showed what he could do against them. So I guess he should be linked again to Manchester City, right? But if we do make our targets, right, and Conte does stay, and I guess he would stay with Spurs. If we don't reach our targets and Conte walks, then I guess who can pay the highest money to Levy? That's where he'll go. And don't forget, I was always saying that, maybe Tuchel from Chelsea wanted Kane. He never wanted Lukaku. That's why you're seeing now he hardly ever plays Lukaku, right? So, but now with Chelsea's problems, I don't think Chelsea will be getting anybody anyway soon, right? But don't forget, Manchester United could go for Harry Kane too.
Yep.
Yeah.
We did have some transfers updates that we did want Harry Kane in the summer, but then we didn't want to pay for Harry Kane. And then now we're saying we want Haaland, we want in a young striker. So no clue what if we're going to get Harry Kane. But if the rumours are correct that we want a young striker, perhaps maybe we might not go for Harry Kane. We might look for perhaps maybe there was a young kid there from Benfica, Nunes, I think he's called. So perhaps maybe we might look at aim for someone like Nunes when it comes to.
I thought you were talking about Vinicius then. I thought you were talking about Vinicius because he's still a Benfica player. You don't want him.
I wouldn't mind having him. I wouldn't mind at all.
He's all right as a backup, I suppose. He was all right as a backup. He scored a hat-trick for us against Marine. Other than that, yeah.
Sorry, Tommy, why are you wearing a red top?
Secretly a Man United fan,
no,
aren't you,
bad
Tommy?
choice, wasn't it? Bad choice. Do you know what though? Do you know what? I'll say this. I'm going to say this at the start, and I'm not going to ever say it again on any stream. My first ever football shirt was a Man United shirt when I was 7 years old. It was the '97 Theatre of Dreams. Remember the Theatre of Dreams? It was the weirdest shirt ever with the plastic button. That was my first shirt. But my cousin.
So who did you have on the back of that shirt?
I don't think I had it.
Gaza.
I think it was Cantona.
Gascoigne.
Cantona was still
Gaza.
Cantona was still there. I had Chris Armstrong. No, I think it might have been Cantona or it was Kane. But I got a soft spot for Man United. I kind of have a soft spot.
Okay, now we know, right, Stel?
I knew it all along.
Oh, you knew it all along. Okay.
Andrew here, I've got a good question here. It's in regards to Chelsea, because I know we did touch on it a little bit behind backstage in terms of Abramovich's news that he's no longer, his assets have been frozen. From a Spurs perspective for you, Tommy, what have you thought about this news?
Well, it's good. It's certainly good for us because if Chelsea can sort of be down there for a few years, it will help us. Same with Newcastle. We want Newcastle relegated right now because we know it's a matter of time before they start spending the big bucks and then we're out of it. Basically, top 4 is going to be almost impossible. If we can get Chelsea down there, as I said, for a couple of years, it would be fantastic. But lots of news coming out. Even Freeze dropped them now. We talked about it backstage. Freeze dropped them. They've stopped their sponsorship in the stadium. I think the shirt sponsor's gone as well now, if I'm correct. The shirt sponsor's gone as well. So yeah, it's mad. It's still pretty fresh. So we don't know everything that's going on. But this is the problem. We need help. We need other teams to do worse for Spurs to prevail. Because otherwise, we're not prevailing with this current transfer budget and the brief of signing play. The biggest problem with Spurs is the brief. Because we've spent money. We have spent money. We spent £100 million on Ndombele and Lo Celso in the same window. I think we got Sessegnon, £30 million that window. The brief is the problem. The brief is the big problem. It's young players that we can sell on in the future. And we need to change that. We need players that are ready to hit off straight away. And that's what Conte does. Conte is an 18-month, 2-season man. So if we can get some players that are ready to go in the summer, change our brief, then hopefully we can get above Chelsea, we can get above Newcastle, and of course yourselves.
I was hoping that you might say, "Oh, we'll go a little bit below Man United," though. I was hoping you could have said that.
Do you know what? We'll take Cavani. Do you know what? If you get Kane, we'll take Cavani all day long. He always
Cavani's leaving on a free.
Is he definitely going?
Yeah, he's definitely going. He's come out and said that he wants to leave in the summer. He wanted to go last summer, but he decided he'll extend by a year. Then he decided he wanted to leave in January, but Ralph had a talk with him and said, we need you in the team. You're crucial here at Manchester United. And he said he'll stay, but now he's definitely staying until the summer transfer window, and then he's openly enough to move. From what I'm hearing, he wants to go South America, but I'm not too sure where he really wants to go.
Yeah, he's on the shoulder. He's not pacey. I mean, you know more than anyone. On the shoulder of defenders, the timing of his runs. He's a great player. I hope he's not fit. I hope he's not fit this Saturday because he was magnificent against us when he beat us 3-0.
With Cavani, he was supposed to be fit for Manchester City. He was back in his training. And then he come out and said, "Oh, he's not fit. Neither is Ronaldo for Manchester City game. Ronaldo goes to Portugal. Don't know where Cavani went. He probably went for some dinner or something because he was fully fit." A lot of players were taking the mick that day. We had no strikers to play Man City.
What's happened to Varane, Maisy?
Varane has got COVID.
Okay, so he'll be back.
Yeah, Varane had COVID, and so did Luke Shaw. Ronaldo supposed to have had a hip injury, and don't know what was wrong with Cavani. Hoping though that Varane will be fully fit though, because we do need Varane. I'm going to ask you this, Stel, because I'm sure this is going to be a correct answer, a yes answer. is how confident would you feel with a win if Maguire was playing?
Do you know what's funny, Maisy? When the January transfer window shut and Spurs bought in 2 players and we got rid of 4 or 5, Arsenal didn't bring in anyone, but they lost to Aubameyang, and Man U did nothing. I think you moved Martial on and maybe one other.
Yep.
Every single fan of all clubs, it was pretty unanimous that top 4 would be decided by injuries, because there's a lot of very thin squads out there now. And when you look at it, as soon as the window shut, we lost Skip, and we lost, I think Romero was still missing. And there's one other, right? And we went through, I think Tingang. There was a few. We lost 4 games out of 6. Now Bentancur's back, Romero's back. We look like the starting 11 can do something, right? Man United, Ronaldo in and out, Varane in and out. You're a bit light up front, Cavani out, and look what happens. You drew, you lost. So injuries are showing that it's having a bit of an effect on your squad. Arsenal have had no injuries, nothing. And look, they're on a good run. So it's proving to be the case. It's coming down to injuries. Will Arsenal have an injury blip? Will they go 3-4 weeks where they have a few injuries? Because if they do, and United and Tottenham don't, let's see what happens then. But for me, a lot of this is about injuries at the moment, and it's playing out. So I know Arsenal fans will say, "Oh, but we lost Tomiyasu," but I'm talking about key players. You know, Ronaldo's key, Cavani's key, Bentancur, Romero are key to Tottenham. If we lost Kane or Son, it's like game over. So, what do I think about Maguire starting? If you leave space in behind for us to counter, Son and Kane are playing, and Maguire is in the back 4, we will expose it. Without a doubt, we will expose it. If that's the tactic, if you come at us, if you properly come at us, I'm not saying you'll win, lose, or draw, but you will leave space in behind. And Spurs have proven that's when we're at our best. If you do what Southampton did and press us really, really well, but your defensive line is a bit further back, so we can't get in behind it, so you leave a bit of a gap. So you're not worried about offside. You're more pragmatic about stopping Son and Kane. If you do that strategy, which is exactly what Southampton did, I think you'll beat us. Do I think Rangnick is going to do that? No. So I think it's going to be a really, really close game between us. 1 goal in it, Spurs or United to win it, 2-1, 3-2, something like that.
Yeah, definitely. I do agree with the injury situation, because Manchester United put a lot of players out on loan during this transfer window, Martial being one, Donny being another. I know Donny wasn't getting the game time, neither is Martial, but when you have them injuries there of Cavani being out for quite a while, you've got Ronaldo picking up the odd injury. You've had, of course, Rashford, who hasn't really been on form this season. And then we've had injuries in the midfield to Scott McTominay.
You haven't even mentioned Greenwood.
Who's Greenwood?
Is that what it is? Is that what it is now? Is that how it is? Just the guy doesn't exist. That's fair enough. That's
where it has to be at the moment, unfortunately.
Yeah, no.
I did like him as a player, but I'm not going to mention him at all. He was a cracking player, though. He was a cracking player. And this is a thing as well, because the board has relied on getting these short-term strikers of Cavani and Ronaldo, despite what they have done. And now, because of what's happened in terms of Greenwood, and we're having to rely on the youngest striker being 34, it's very poor scouting there by the board. Extremely poor scouting. And it's like we're working 5 years behind, and we're looking at these players who are past the prime. Nobody wants them. They're on a free, and that's how it is now with Manchester United.
Maisy, can I ask you a question, okay?
Yeah.
If you're Mbappe, Haaland, Kane, trying to think what other top strikers are out there, right? Laura Martinez at Inter, Vlahovic, Lewandowski. If you're these top level strikers, okay, because you've always brought in top level strikers. Yeah. You brought in Van Persie, you brought in Van Nistelrooy. You've always had that elite striker, right? Do these elite strikers right now, when they see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as manager, or they see Rangnick as manager, Are you attractive to the elite strikers at the moment?
You know what? If I was a player like Mbappe or Haaland, I wouldn't be attracted to Manchester United based on how they're doing right now. And another thing would be the manager would be an idea. The amount of trophies we've won since Sir Alex Ferguson is another. Have no plan is another for me. Why?
Try being a Spurs fan.
It sounds like a very similar situation. It does though. I mean, Eugene still we're sitting here, we're thinking that sounds like us. It sounds like us.
No, that's what I've been saying.
But this is Manchester United.
No,
they can buy themselves out of a hole, can't they? They can have one window, buy themselves out of the hole.
But that's what I'm saying. But they can't attract the elite striker. I don't think they can attract an elite striker.
I think they're the most supported team on the planet. I think Man United will get players. If they want players, if they really put the money in, I think they've got a better chance of us, haven't they?
Yeah, but Tommy, what I'm saying is though, if you're Mbappe or Haaland, hot property, young, dynamite, if Man United come in, are you going to say, yeah, that's the move I want to make right now, or are you going to wait for Real Madrid, Barca, Bayern, Man City, Liverpool? I'd rather go Man City, Liverpool if I was an elite striker.
Oh, of course,
right now.
of course.
I would.
But it's yeah, you're thinking they're a sleeping giant, aren't they? Runners up last season, Man United. I know it was pretty much foregone conclusion that Man City won the title with like 3 months before it ended. But runners up, it is a matter of time.
We were runners up once.
It is.
We were runners up once.
But still, we couldn't attract players, could we? Because we didn't attempt to sign players. We went 3 windows without signing a player after that, didn't we? Which is madness, absolutely madness.
Yeah.
There's a good question here from Ravi, which I'm going to give to Eugene here. What will it take to beat the so-called big teams consistently and convincingly?
Okay, Ravi, what Spurs has to do, right, is play the low block and go on the counter. That's it. Let all the big teams try to attack us, right? That's why I've been thinking, if we play MU at the Theatre of Dreams, right, would Rangnick play what Stel was saying, right? Either play the low block and counter attackers or press us like crazy. But if you have Cristiano Ronaldo in your team, you can't play the press because Ronaldo doesn't press, correct? So that's one clock there, all right? The other thing is, if we sit back and you come at us and you've seen what we did to M City, and whenever we have our counter attacks, we are very precise, right? I think during M City games, we had about 6 shots, right? And we had about 4 or 5 on target and we scored 3. Something like that, right? The M City game. But now, will Rangnick play that style of football? Of course not. You guys are at home. You guys will come at us, right? So we will have to come for us. Yeah, come for us. So I guess the only thing that what Spurs can be consistent is that we are consistently inconsistent. That's all, right? Consistently inconsistent. Against the big teams, we have a plan. Against the small teams, right? If we don't have the correct players, we don't have the key to unlock the defense of the other team. So that's the sad part. But it's hard to say. Maybe with now Bentancur being coming in again, with Daki in, maybe we'll have a chance to unlock the low block teams. And with the big 6 or what I call the stronger teams, so we'll play the low block and we'll go on a counter attack. So, but to get consistent results, we've already seen Conte blow his top once. So, and I guess he's on a gag order at the moment, right? Even after the Middlesbrough loss, he was like smiling all the time. Yeah, we lost. Yeah, they were a better team. Yeah. But let's see how it goes. And if we want to, I guess we can, right? Because we've shown it that we can. But sometimes, I don't know, it's just the passion, the desire, the heart. That's all. And sometimes I think we see that lacking in the MU team too now. Don't you see that? Yeah.
We are definitely lacking in that way. And I think you will get a win if you exploit our midfield, which at the moment isn't exactly hard to exploit our midfield because we've got one of the worst midfield in the league. Yeah. If you exploit Scott and Fred, who I think will start, because I think it will end up being Pogba on the left because he's done that for the last couple of games. And you do exploit us, I think it will really, really work. However, if Matic plays, it could be a completely different because he's a defensive midfield.
I'll let you into a secret, right? Hack down Bentancur, and when wings come on, you'll win.
We have got a player by a person who does normally come into the channel. They absolutely love Harry Winks. They keep saying that Manchester United should sign Harry Winks. I don't know if he's in the chat.
Are they trolling us? Are they trolling us or
No,
trolling you, I should say?
No, he actually really likes Harry Winks. He's actually called Vaughn, and he's not in the chat at the moment, but he really likes Harry Winks. So, Vaughn, we've mentioned Harry Winks for you. If you're watching it back, I'm sure he'll be happy to hear that, though. There was a good question here as well in terms of Spurs as well, and it was from Niall actually. So if I just get that, it was from here, Ravi. Sorry, Ravi said, and I'll go with you, Tommy. What formation best suits Spurs against the likes of Manchester United?
Well, I think the only debate we're going to have in terms of formation is 3-4-3 or 3-5-2, because Conte's only ever played with a 3 for the last 6 years, so that's the only that is between those two. We had a very odd window, like yourselves. I mean, I remember you threw some names out there, and I can't believe Man United's window. What happened with Greenwood happened with Greenwood. We know that was in the window. That happened during the window. Then Van den Beek out, Martial out, no signings in. Very, very, very odd. And it was the same with us. In some terms, we got rid of 4, but only brought 2 in, and 3 were centre mids. 3 were centre mids that we got rid of, or number 10s if you like. And we only brought 1 centre mid in. Bentancur Kulusevski's a right winger. So that meant that more often than not, we would have to go with the 3-4-3, because Conte was chopping and changing up to that point. But since we got rid of the centre mids, it's 3-4-3 more. That's the chance it's going to be that. We've got 4 centre midfielders now. So we got Winks, we got Bentancur, we got Højbjerg, Skip's injured as well. So we don't really have the depth. We got 3 centre mids. If one of them gets injured, we have to change formation to a 3-4-3. So we're going to stick with a 3-4-3. It's almost certain. But look, we're going to struggle against you, because Liverpool, Man City were teams we've done well against this season. We beat Man City twice. Ironically, the thing Man City were missing the most was a number 9, because down the wings, they were all over us. They missed a finisher, someone in the box to put that ball in the back of the net. It was the same in the first game. But you have that. You've got pace on the wing, and you've got an outstanding number 9. Midfield and defence isn't great, but you have that 3-pronged attack, and you have Bruno Fernandes drilling balls through as well. I think that's why you beat us 3-0 and beat us comfortably. So if Ronaldo or Cavani are fit, and you got, I don't know, Sancho, Rashford, or whoever you put on the wing, it's going to be a struggle for us, especially away from home. You beat us 3-0 at home at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So it's going to be a real tough fight. And going on from what Eugene said, in terms of how, like, sort of how we're going to play. The problem is the other teams we've struggled with too. We lost to Chelsea. We lost to Chelsea 4 times this season, 8-0, because the Spurs fans will not sit back, will not allow the team to sit back against Chelsea. Yourselves, they will not allow it. We're traditionally attacking side. West Ham, we can't sit back in those games. The fans will allow us to sit back against Man City and Liverpool, because they know they're magnificent. The other games, it won't happen. So we have to be on the front foot, or the fans will go mad. That's how we are, especially if we're not winning the game. So against you, we're going to go on the front foot. We leave space at the back. With that, I'm still not convinced by a back 3. Ben Davies, Dyer, Romero's very good. You can exploit it. One of the big ones is if you have a fit number 9. If Ronaldo or Cavani play, for me, we're going to struggle to get a point, if I'm perfectly honest.
Mm-hmm. And staying with you, Tommy, as well, because Luca did have a question for you on what is the Spurs situation at the moment with Daniel Levy and Conte.
I think Stel's the better person to ask. I think Stel is the better person to ask.
Luca asked you.
Yeah, asked you.
Big up Luca. I know Luca.
I know Luca too. Yeah, I know Luca too. Yeah. The
Levy Spurs situation. Look, at the end of the day, I mean, we're going to give him time. We're going to give him until the summer, and then we'll see how the window finishes. Given a whole summer with Conte in charge, we've only had one window with him. So if Conte's still there by the summer, I think he will be. Unless the wheels truly come off from here until the end of the season. We have to give him the summer, and I think Eugene's in agreement, Stel's in agreement. If we don't support him, the fans really will turn. I think this is the point now. Fans sitting on the fence or below the fence, not sure whether to protest or join in with Levy out. If we don't support Conte this summer, I think that's where it flips and Spurs fans will really, really turn.
Mm-hmm. Do you agree with that as well there, Stel?
I think it comes down to where we finish. I think if we don't get top 4, he's not going to get backed. If we get top 6, I think he'll be backed, but then he's going to be pissed off because what players of the Conte caliber are we going to attract as a Europa Cup team? Spurs aren't Inter Milan, Juventus, Chelsea, where you can finish anywhere in the league and you attract top players because of the stature of your club. You know they're going to win trophies. No matter where they... Inter Milan finished 7th, they end up finishing 1st. Conte went to Juve, they were relegated, and he got them up, and then they won 3 league titles in a row. There's a quick bounce back from not a good position to a really, really excellent position. Tottenham don't do that. So he's not gonna. We're not gonna get the players he wants purely off the back of we're in the Europa Cup and we're Tottenham. If we finish below 6th, Conte's gone because we're not backing any. There's no way we're going to back him if we come 7th. No chance. So for me, I think he'll be backed if we get top 4. I think he'll be 75% backed, maybe 60% backed if we get top 6. And then we'll see what he does about that. That's what I think is going to happen. But Tommy's right. If he's not backed, I think people will turn. If they don't turn, then I blame the fans. I actually blame the fans now, Maisy. I won't get into that because it's quite a controversial subject I've hit. But I personally blame Spurs fans because you protest, Liverpool everyone protests. We write a letter. We write a letter to the chairman. We write a letter to say, can we have a meeting, please?
So true. So true.
Well, one-on-one meeting there with Daniel Levy with Stel. That is something I'd love to see.
I'd love Brian Daigle. I said it the other day. Brian Daigle or Stel to bump into Daniel Levy. That would be amazing.
I'd go to jail.
How long would you be doing in jail?
Life.
That's the equivalent of a death threat. That's the equivalent of a death threat.
Yeah, I'm joking. I'd probably do about 30 years.
Very long time. I'm sure
do you know what?
Leave it might be worth it.
Do you know what? If I ever met him, I would genuinely say to him, do you really understand what you're doing to the fans? Do you really care? Like, is there anything about you that actually gives a shit about the football team? Like the actual group of people that go out on that pitch and the squad that you build to go and be successful. Is there anything in you at all, man? Like, because I've seen nothing. And I'd love to hear his explanation. I'd love to see him wriggle out of that one. That's the kind of conversation I'd have with him. But just to answer Jonathan Rossi, 1987, Stel likes to talk no action. I've been to 4 protests. I was on Sky Sports blasting Enoch. I was in the New York Times. I don't know how they got hold of me. I was on the front. I was in the Sun. I was in the Times. I was also at the recent protest we held where only 15 of us turned up. Woohoo! Big protest. And I also somehow with another Spurs fan called Mr. K, shout out to Mr. K, we were on a Chinese Spurs channel. They actually came up on the high road and said, can we interview you about Enoch out? So, Jonathan, believe me, I do take action. There's just not many of us. I mean, Tommy's come to a protest. Tommy's come. There's just not many of us. We don't.
There's about 12 people. Half was 17-year-olds singing Sissoko's name. So I thought, nah.
Yeah.
For this.
Yeah, exactly. So we're just not a very active fan base when it comes to taking action. And I don't know why, but that's where we're at. That's our club at the moment.
Well, our last protest was absolutely shambles as well. We only had about 10 people coming, and then a couple of them was already in the mega shop buying stuff.
Yeah,
we've done that. We've done that as well.
Yeah.
We've done that. We had a fan holding this massive Enoch out profit before glory banner, and in his other hand he's got a club shop bag with merchandise in it.
No,
that was the same. Glazers out, and then they had the mega store bag with him. And he had the United shirt on.
Yeah. So,
Oh,
sorry. Apology to Jonathan Rossi. I think he was being sarcastic.
Winding you up.
Yeah,
Winding you up.
He was joking with me. Sorry, Jonathan. I didn't realize, dude. But anyway, but I hope I've answered the question.
But looking at these transfers, what you have had this season, you've had Brian Gill, who's going on loan now. You bought Royale as well. You bought Romero. What have you thought about your transfers for you, Eujin, for what you got in the summer transfer window and the January transfer window?
For the summer transfer window, it's a bit weird, right? We were actually linked to Tomiyasu for like the whole 6 months of it, right? And then we got in Royale, weirdly, right? And Tomiyasu, you know where he went, so we don't want to go there, right? And look at Emerson now. There's already rumors that we want to sell him again, right? And during the January transfer window, before the transfer window, we could see a very honest and straight and direct Conte when he has his press conferences. When the window started, Conte started to become very, avoiding, and he doesn't answer questions straight. And then all of a sudden he blew up and all that after the matches. And then he did go on to Sky Italia and said that, we got out 4 or 5, we brought in 2, the numbers don't add up, which is quite prevalent that we see it now, right? If Bentancur gets injured, the only other midfielder we have to play is Winks, right? Centre mid. And you know what Winks is, right? So, and let's mention Winks a few more times for Vaughan. Winks, right? But it's what Conte is saying, that it's more like the numbers has weakened our team instead of strengthened our team. But somehow or another, Decky and Bentancur coming in now has given us a certain kind of a different dimension of our games that we have. But like what Stel has been saying, the top 4 race now actually is running down to injuries, whether the injuries are real injuries or whether the injuries are fictitious injuries, like what happened to Ronaldo, right? And Cavani, So maybe, issues in our team has been more or less settled by Conte after when he had his 2 or 3 outbursts before the past 2 previous games. And for you guys are still, I think, in some kind of a smoke and mirrors things that's been played around the fans, which the truth has not actually been let out there. And I quite pity you guys, because being a Spurs fan like us for all these years, right, we've been in the smoke and mirrors for a long time. Since Conte came, right, Conte is more or less blew away the smoke and mirrors, and he's actually called out the board. And directly, not even once or maybe twice or 3 times. But if our team performs, like every fan base, we are happy, we're elated, we're jubilant, and we're going for the top 4. When our team lose, we are like, oh, blah, 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 we are shit, this and that and this and that. So the roller coaster ride is there. But some of us fans have gone to a stage that, okay, we accept what we are. And we'll just sit and wait and see what happens during summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just wait and see what's happening during summer. But for, like I said, Manchester United, you can actually tell it's the biggest club in the world, right? Based on the support all the way to Asia, right? During Sir Alex time, you actually built that brand so well. But these past few years, you're saying like M-City, Chelsea, the way they've been spending the money and spending the money correctly, right? Like what Stel has been saying, you have to spend the money correctly. We've spent money too, right? We wasted hundreds of millions of pounds on players that, like what Conte said, you have a problem when you buy players at that value and you have to still loan them out, right? So I guess you guys are more or less in that flow of things at the moment too. So let's hope, being fans of the game, right? It's just not for the club. I mean, it's just also for the love of the game, right? For the love of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And we always appreciate good football. Doesn't matter where and who plays it, just as long as football is good, right?
Mm-hmm. What we'll do before we wrap up as well, we will answer this final question here from Jonathan, which I will pass to Stel. Do you think it's feasible to keep Kane and try and build a new team with him, or sell him and take the team into a new direction?
You see this question, this doesn't exist if Liverpool never sold Coutinho and bought Alisson and Van Dijk and went and won the league. That one move then allows this question to exist. No one would say that otherwise. How can Coutinho wasn't Liverpool's best player? They had many good players at the time, right? If Spurs sell their best player, and for me, and it's just my opinion, the most complete striker on the planet, and they think that's the way to rebuild and go forward, I think we're barking up the wrong tree, because build the team around Kane, not without Kane. Don't sell him to raise money. Put money in. This is the big argument at Tottenham. You've got fans like me that are Levy out, Enoch out, the owners, because they don't build a team around Kane and invest in a squad, not just 11 players that can play without injuries and suspensions. And then you've got the other lot that are saying, oh, Enoch are doing the right thing. We don't want to be like Chelsea, Man City, Newcastle. We're doing it the right way. Be patient, be patient, be patient. So if you sell Kane, let me ask you something, right? Who asked that question? Sorry, Maisy?
It was Jonathan who asked that question.
All right. What I would ask Jonathan is this. If we sell Kane, who do we buy to replace all his goals and all the goals he creates? Because last season, he was Golden Boot goal scorer and Golden Boot for assists, or whatever the equivalent is, the golden assists. This season, since Conte's come back, he's found himself again. He's doing it again for us. How do you replace Kane then? Let's say we sell Kane for 100 million. Who do you buy to replace Kane?
We had this debate yesterday. We had this debate yesterday.
Who do you buy?
There's nothing there.
And Tommy, if there was something there, we'd have to spend all the Kane money to do it. So what's the point of selling Kane? Build around Kane. That's what I would. That's what I would do. I mean, what do you?
I think a lot of the neutral looking at it. A lot of the neutral fans are looking at it for that exact reason. Kane is killing it with a club that are finishing 6th and 7th. You know, maybe we're going to have to sell him, and if we do, you know, how are we going to replace him? It is impossible. It is, especially if we don't finish in the top 4. Even if we do finish in the top 4, the best option, Vlahovic, is gone, because we're not getting Haaland. That's for sure. We're certainly not getting Haaland. And Lewandowski looks like he's going to you guys. Lewandowski.
Apparently so.
Lewandowski to Man United. I'd take Lewandowski, even though he's he's an old boy as well. He's an old boy as well. You said about, you know,
Lewandowski in the Premier League. I don't know.
He's going to go. He's definitely.
I'd have him, but not a long term. He's not long term. That is the problem. We need long term. But I'll wrap it up here now anyway. Thank you, Eujin. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Stel, for coming on. When you shout out your socials, also as well, tell me your score prediction. I'll go with you first, Eujin. Thank you for coming on. A pleasure to do a stream with you at last. Would you like to shout out your socials and your score prediction?
You can find me on YouTube, right? Spurs Asian TV. If you have the time, just hop on, right? Give me a like and a subscribe. On Twitter, more or less you can find me on, you know, NIJUE88. That's my own Twitter account, but I'm rarely active on Twitter, right? I just use it to look at other people's things. Score prediction. I don't know, if MU come at us and we play the low block, we will have a chance to win. But funny feeling deep down inside, right? I think it's going to be a draw. Right? We haven't had a draw in a long time, so I think it's going to be a draw for us. Maybe a 1-1 or 2-2, exciting draw, or maybe 3-3, right? All the way to the end for, you know. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you for coming on, Eujin.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. Tommy, brilliant to have a stream with you again. Would you like to shout out your socials and as well your score prediction?
I just want to say thanks ever so much for having me. Enjoyed it. I really have enjoyed it. And it's brave, even on your own channel, to have to be surrounded by Spurs fans. It's brave. But I think we've got a good group here. We're not too biased. I think we're pretty level-headed. So, thanks for having me. And, Tommy Talk Sport, I've got it there. That's my Twitter handle as well. You find my YouTube on there, my YouTube channel on there. So, chuck me a couple of follows if you can. I've got a preview happening tomorrow about 7 p.m. Maisy's going to be on that as well. And I've got 1 or 2 other Man United fans coming on. Yank, you must know Yank talking smack. He's going to be there. And maybe one other. So make sure you join me for that. But before anything, make sure you subscribe to Maisy here. Fantastic channel. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, Tommy. Stel, great to do a show with you. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, predicted score. Sorry.
Yeah.
3-2. 3-2.
3-2 to
Kane hat trick. 3-2 Kane hat trick.
3-2 to Spurs it is. Stel, thank you so much for coming on. Great to do a show with you as well. Would you like to shout out your socials and score prediction?
Yeah. First of all, Maisy, I do a lot of shows, and I have to say you're one of the best hosts. I'm not just saying that out of being niceness. You're actually a good host. Good on you. So I like it. I like your style. Tottenham Away, that's the channel that I'm on. I do it with two other guys, JP and Iggy. Iggy's actually Italian, so he's we've got an Italian manager and an Italian director of football. So Iggy's great to have on the show at the moment. You can check us out on Monday nights, and you can check us out on Tuesdays. That's when we go live. Yep, like, subscribe if that's your thing. In terms of score prediction, I think this is going to be a tight game. I think there's one goal in it, and I think Man United, you lot were badly stung away at the Etihad. That was a horrible derby defeat. You can't come to Old Trafford in front of your fans and not turn up. And that's what worries me, Maisy. It really worries me with you lot. We might be on the end of a backlash or a bad response, but I know what Spurs can do on the counter, and I think we're better away from home than what we are at home at times. So one goal in it. I think 2-1 Tottenham. But I could go either way. It really could. But I think 2-1 Tottenham. And I want to hear your prediction as well, Maisy.
I was thinking the same. I was thinking 2-1 as well, Stel, to be honest. I think I'm going to go for 2-1 United because I think we will concede, especially if Maguire's at the back. But I think, though, as same as you, it can go either way because Tottenham have got the scoring boots back on. Son, who's also a brilliant player. And, you know, you've got threats there off the bench. You could put Luka Moura off the bench and he'd be able to do something for you there as well. So it is definitely going to be tight, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 as well. Thank you for all three of you for coming on. Thank you for everyone in the live chat with all the great questions there as well. I will be next live. It will be next week now. I'll be doing it on Monday. I'll be doing a preview for the Manchester United women's game versus West Ham United women. So go and check that out. And everybody's socials here, check them out. The description it's in the description below. All the socials there, including the YouTube channel. So if you haven't already, give them all a subscribe. And if you're new to this channel, also give me a subscribe too. I'll see you all soon. It's a goodbye for now.
Levy out.